Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. Hey, you guys, it is Michelle Grosser here. Thanks for being with us on the Calm Mom Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about some subtle signs that you might be stuck, your nervous system and your body might be stuck in survival mode. Before we start, if you're new here, I want to tell you a little bit about Restore. Restore is my small group coaching program for women. It's a 7-week program, so every week we focus on one step of my framework to help you learn how to regulate your nervous system and recover from burnout. And then once a week, we meet on Zoom for an hour of live coaching. And the feedback I've gotten on this current cohort, you guys, we're finishing it up now. It's been incredible. The women are feeling way less stress and anxiety. They have more energy, more patience, more joy. And what I keep hearing, like the undertone, this entire cohort has been, man, I'm starting to finally feel like my old self again, which is just the truth because you guys, she is in there. Your old self that was vibrant and passionate and excited about life, like she's still in there. And even these signs of survival that we're going to go through today, healing your nervous system so you can move out of survival mode is so much more about unbecoming than it is about becoming. What do I mean by that? I mean that you guys weren't always so stressed out, right? You weren't always this tired. You weren't always this irritable. It's the result of years of like patterning that you've picked up because of your life experience. So healing your nervous system is simply learning how to undo so many of the things that aren't serving you anymore. She's in there. We just have to rediscover her. And that's what we do inside of Restore. I teach you guys step by step on how to bring calm to your body, how to close the stress loop. I teach you how to replace some of your bad habits with better habits. I give you body-based tools to deal with stress and regulate your nervous system and so much more. And the next cohort, our spring cohort, starts in early April. So if you guys want to know more, if you're interested, if you're curious, if this feels really aligned for you, man, check out the link in the show notes and jump on the wait list because I know that this is just the program you're looking for. All right, before we jump into these 5 subtle signs that you're living in survival mode, let's talk about what survival mode is for a minute. When our nervous system perceives any sort of threat, right? Any sort of stressor, whether it is real or perceived, it changes the physiology in your body, right? So your body starts to release chemicals from your brain. It prompts you into what we call a stress response so that you can accurately respond to that threat. It makes sense, right? So we release things like cortisol and adrenaline and our muscles prepare for action. And some of our non-essential systems like our digestive system and our immune system and our reproductive system, they all kind of go on pause. They all kind of go offline so that everything in our body can be used to prioritize our survival. However, when that stressor is not, actually running from a lion, right, once in a while, but it's the 24/7 stress of everyday life that we all experience, the mental load, the kids, the finances, the health, the relationships, the work, like all of this stuff, we now live in a state of chronic stress. What does that mean for our brain? It means that for our brain and our nervous system and our body, we can stay stuck in that stress response for a really long time, you guys, without ever returning to our baseline stress level. We're basically stuck on, right? We're like stuck on alert. We're worried, edgy, anxious, and we're living, whether we're aware of it or not, we're living in a state of survival. And it impacts so much of our day to day, probably without us even realizing it. So I want to go through 5 subtle signs that you might be living in survival mode. The first one is that you are always busy. Always busy. This is one that society really rewards, right? We get stuff done. We're productive. We're always doing something. But y'all, there's a cost to that. It is exhausting. And it's a sign that your nervous system is stuck in survival. If everything feels urgent, you're always rushing, even like your meals, you're eating on the go, you're eating so fast, you can't sit still. It's really hard to relax. There's a reason for that, right? Being busy all the time is a really good coping mechanism. It's probably not a part of your personality, right? If you've like identified as that, someone who's super productive, always busy, I would venture to guess it's actually not your personality. Being busy all the time is probably a pattern that you've picked up along the way of your life, and it can stem from a lot of different things. Like maybe you had parents or caregivers who modeled always being busy. Maybe you were taught that like resting or relaxing was lazy. There's so many stories that we have around like quote unquote, don't be lazy growing up, right? Maybe staying busy is a great distraction for you. Like subconsciously, if you stay busy, you can just avoid something painful or uncomfortable that you don't want to face. And maybe you've run this pattern for so long, you're like a pro at being busy, and being busy feels really normal to you. It feels really comfortable to your nervous system because it's familiar. And then being still and slowing down can feel so uncomfortable because it's so foreign. So if this is resonating and you're like, holy moly, she's reading my mail, get curious. Like, why do you keep yourself so busy? Where did that start, right? When did that start? In what ways is that not serving you anymore? Are you exhausted? Is it hard to be present with your family? Do you feel like you have no time for fun or enjoy the things that you do, the things that you enjoy, right? How can you start to put some boundaries around that urge to always doing something and focus more on just being? Notice your pace. So that's the first subtle sign that you might be stuck in survival mode. The second sign that you might be stuck in survival mode is that you feel constantly overstimulated. I don't need to tell you as moms, our nervous system is constantly being stimulated, right? All the questions, all the requests for snacks, all the like 450 other things that your kids are asking for, the mental load, our cell phones, our email, like all of the sounds, y'all. Kids are loud. The lights, right? Sometimes it's too much. So if you notice that you start to feel really overwhelmed by all of the stimulation, first of all, you are not alone. I struggle with this. Most of the women that I work with struggle with this, especially in that dinner evening hour when we're at the end of our rope and our window of tolerance is super narrow. This could be a sign that we're in survival mode. We all have a capacity, right? We all have that window of tolerance that our nervous system can handle what we can handle before we become dysregulated. So if we've got too much coming at us, we're not well resourced in the moment, it's just too much, right? It sends our body into survival mode. And then what happens? We snap at our kids, we lose it, we have a meltdown, we just want to run and hide, we're cranky. None of that is fun for anybody. So the big thing here is to start to notice your somatic cues of dysregulation. When your system is starting to be overwhelmed by all of the stimulation, how does that show up in your body somatically, right? Does your breathing change? Does your heart rate change? Do you tense up, maybe your jaw or your shoulders? And then when you start to notice that, like you're kind of simmering, that simmering on the verge of losing it, the simmering of overstimulation, what can you do before you get to the point of just losing it and snapping, right? Can you go outside and get some fresh air and some sunlight on your face for 5 minutes? Can you go, put your phone in another room or turn off the notifications at least, right? To start to lower the amount of stimulation you're getting from your phone. Can you go have a release? Can you go like scream into a pillow? Or can you just go walk around the block in silence without your phone, without your AirPods, without listening to anything, just being in nature in silence. Or maybe you could just like dim the lights around the house and put on your noise canceling headphones. I love that one. And that's great if you're feeling overstimulated. So that's another subtle sign that you're stuck in survival mode. I've got a question for you. Do you sometimes feel like you're more sensitive than other people? Does the routine stress of life just feel overwhelming? Maybe sometimes you feel like you could just tap out or run and hide. Are you really creative? You got this great imagination? Or maybe you feel like you're disconnected from your body or like you're a misfit here on earth. You might have thought that's just how you are. All these things are just part of your personality, but they're actually coping mechanisms that you've picked up over the course of your life, and they're having a huge impact on how you show up, especially in this motherhood journey. Are you curious to know more? You've got to take my personality patterns quiz. Here's what's going on. When you were a child, whenever an experience overwhelmed your nervous system, you subconsciously built a defense against that overwhelm. Over time, those defenses became a habit, then they became a pattern. Now, as an adult, what we think of as our personality is often this defense pattern running the show. It's interesting, right? There are 5 personality patterns. They're not personality types like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, but rather they describe the safety strategies that you immediately go to when you start to feel overwhelmed. They don't describe who you are, but rather what is blocking who you are. The good news is that once you take my quiz and learn about your pattern, you can learn skills to break out of that pattern and live and parent your kids as your true and authentic self. Click on the quiz link in the show notes or go to michellegrosser.com/quiz now to take my 2-minute personality pattern quiz. The third one is if you feel like the wheels are always turning. You cannot turn your brain off. You're always mentally planning. So this is similar to number 1, right? Being busy all the time. But in this one, it's your mind that's always busy. You feel like you can just never stop thinking, never stop planning. You wake up in the morning, you've got racing thoughts about, the thousands of things you got to get done today. And then maybe while you're making breakfast, you're thinking about work. And when you're at work, you're thinking about dinner. And when you're at dinner, you're thinking about everything you need to get done for the weekend or whatever it is. It just never stops. The wheels are always turning. If it's not one thing, it's another. And you worry or you overthink, you're always planning, always playing out different scenarios in your head. Guys, these are all signs that your body is in fight or flight, right? That you're stuck in survival mode. And I think the best thing to do if this resonates for you is to remember this. Overthinking is underfeeling. I'm going to say that again. When you're stuck overthinking, it's a signal that you are underfeeling. So when you're stuck in a loop of overthinking, so often that means you are not feeling something. So what you want to do is you want to get out of your head and get into your body. And we go deep into the tools and the exercises to help you do that inside of Restore. I give you body-based nervous system balancing exercises to get you out of your head and into your body. And over the course of Restore, you'll try out all these different tools that I'll teach you. And the goal is to have 3 to 5 tools that work really, really well to help your body, your nervous system calm down and get out of survival mode. So that's number 3. Number 4 is that you feel wired but tired. That feeling when you're just so freaking exhausted, but like you can't chill out. You can't sleep, right? You're wired, but you're tired. Maybe it's, you're watching Netflix or you're reading in bed and it's 11 p.m. and you're feeling like, man, what's going on? I'm so tired, but I feel like I'm getting a second wind, right? Or maybe it hits you at like 3 a.m. and it's the middle of the night and you're exhausted. You need more rest, but you're feeling really wired and it's hard to go back to sleep. And when you're feeling wired but tired, guys, this is typically a symptom of burnout. Your body has been in survival mode for so long. The load of that chronic stress on your body is really impacting your systems. It's impacting your hormones. It's impacting the function of your adrenals. And your system is really crying out for help. This is one of the most common symptoms I see of women who join Restore, right? And as they learn how to regulate their nervous system, as they learn how to reset their sleep-wake cycle and their circadian rhythms and take better care of their mind and their body, nourishing their mind and body, right? Supplementing, slowing down, changing their habits up and their routines, their adrenals heal. and that wired but tired feeling will start to dissipate. And then the last one, number 5, the 5th subtle sign that you're stuck in survival mode is that your creativity is shot. It's shot. Creativity needs safety. Creativity needs kind of like freedom and space to flow. Our brains cannot be creative if they're stuck in survival mode, right? Our nervous system's always going to prioritize our safety and our well-being and our survival. So if our nervous system is in survival, the part of our brain that we use for creativity is offline. It's shut down, you guys. So if we're under a threat, it would make sense that our brain is like, let's shut down everything that isn't absolutely necessary for fight or flight, right? To run or to fight. So if there's a threat, there's no time to do all these beautiful, creative things. So if you're someone who's typically pretty creative, but you feel like your creativity has just been gone lately, it might be because you're living in survival mode. And guys, when I say creative, I'm not just talking about being artistic, right? Or creating art. That's a beautiful part of creative expression, but creativity is so much bigger than that. You need creativity when you're dealing with your kid's meltdown, right? Or your kids fight and you're getting in between it and trying to mediate. You need creativity for meal planning for the week, right? You need creativity and brainstorming in your workspace and innovating and ideating, dreaming and goal setting. All these things require creativity. So if that's kind of been dimmed lately, it could very well be a signal that you, my friend, are stuck in survival mode. So those are the 5 subtle signs. You're always busy. You often feel overstimulated. You can't turn your brain off. You feel wired but tired, and you feel like you have no creativity. That's what I've got for you guys today. It's so important for us to grow in our awareness of these things because what do I always say? Awareness precedes choice. We cannot intervene in a world that we cannot see. So if you've grown in your awareness today of some of the patterns that you run that might be signs that you're stuck in survival mode, awesome, amazing. This is good news. Now you can do something about it, right? And you can go back and you can listen to some of my episodes where I give you tips on regulating your nervous system. You could reach out to me, book a discovery call. I would love to support you. The next cohort of Restore starts in a couple of weeks. So if you want to join us, like if you resonated with a couple of these signs or maybe all of these signs that you're in survival mode, like actually do something about this, you guys. Do something about this state of anxiety, this state of overwhelm, the state of burnout that you're in. Jump on the wait list. I'm going to be sending out an email in the next week or so to only those of you on the wait list. And I'm going to give you early registration access. There's going to be a bunch of other special bonuses. You're going to have access to free one-on-one coaching opportunities, additional savings, only for waitlist members. So I would love to have you join us in April. There's already been a ton of interest in this spring cohort. I guess you guys really want to get your nervous system right before summer break. I hear that. So get on the wait list, save your spot before we fill up. I'll see you guys there.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.